Welcome back to the Cossy channel. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. After completing the signing of Martin Zubimendi, Andre Partey is now working on 3 more important deals and he's getting closer and closer. Which deals are these? What is Andre Partey cooking? We're going to be discussing all that in this video. He's already impressed internally. He's already impressed externally around the market. People are feeling the pressure from Arsenal. He's a bit aggressive and Arsenal are benefiting from it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Which deals are coming next after Martin Zubimendi? Now, of course, coming into this Arsenal side, Andre Partey was given 3 jobs majorly this summer. One was to sign a striker, but also bring a couple of options into this Arsenal team in midfield, in defense, and maybe a goalkeeper as well. But also, he was told to extend contracts of players, especially the important players that Mikel Arteta considers untouchable, the core of the Arsenal team. We are talking Saliba, Gabriel, Partey, the likes of Kai Havertz, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard. All those are the players that Mikel Arteta thinks at the core of this team and are untouchable. But this summer, Arsenal had a big task. We had to extend some of their contracts as well as work on incomings. And the third job that Andre Partey has to work with is selling players this summer. Arsenal, however much we love our players, we've got to sell some, we've got to raise some money, as we were given about 100 million, and the rest of the money is going to come from player sales. So Andre Partey so far is doing the job very well, even if some of the plan is doing or executing is actually a plan that was laid by Edu and Mikel Arteta and Jason Ato right from last summer. So it doesn't really matter. He's doing the job and he's doing it very, very well. And deal number 1 is the Thomas Partey deal, and this has been confirmed by today by Charles Wedge that Partey has now officially been offered a new deal in recent days. Not been agreed yet, but talks are continuing to reach an agreement as both parties want him to continue at the club. Likely scenario is that an agreement will be reached between Thomas Partey and Arsenal. That is according to Charles Watch, reporting for goal.com and reporting for charleswatch.com as well. So this is the first deal that Andre Partey is working on in terms of player contract extensions. And I remember saying this, it was reported by Fabrizio, that Arsenal's plan for the midfield is going to be Martin Zubimendi coming in, and instead of signing another central midfielder, Arsenal are going to bring in, are going to actually extend the contract of Thomas Partey. Now, for me, this is important, especially for Mikel Arteta. He loves, Thomas Partey. He understands Thomas Partey, and Partey, to some extent, is part of the core of this team. You just can't let him go. You just can't, throw him away. But also, very importantly, if Arsenal were to sign 2 central midfielders this summer, it would cost quite a lot. I mean, Martin Zubimendi is one of the best in the world, and he's going to cost 60 million euros. But you don't have many other players that are going to cost 60 million euros or less, and they're at that level of Thomas Partey, of the Martin Zubimendi. So for Arsenal to save money, what we have done, and Andre Partey is a genius for this, he has brought in Martin Zubimendi, that's okay, but he has decided to keep Thomas Partey for at least 1 or 2 years. That is going to buy him some time this summer. It's going to buy him some time to look for a good replacement for Thomas Partey. That's number 1. But also, as the squad evolves, we're going to have to see, different demands in this team. So maybe next summer, instead of replacing Thomas Partey like for like, Arsenal sign a number 10, or Arsenal sign a creative midfielder, or Arsenal go out there and sign someone of a different profile. So this is, for me, is a very important deal. It will allow Martin Zubimendi enough time to settle in. That is number 1. We have Thomas Partey taking on that role that has been occupied by Jorginho. That is number 2. And thirdly, we won't spend money on another midfielder. That means that Arsenal can commit their funds to the attacking positions, which have been a priority this summer. So that is deal number 1. And I've got to say, I'm impressed with Andre Partey. Keeping Thomas Partey has been high on the agenda of Mikel Arteta, of many Arsenal fans, and that has been delivered. But then there is this. According to Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal are on the verge of reaching an agreement with Gabriel Magalhaes over a new long-term deal. Negotiations are at advanced stages, are reported by BBC. Understand deal will be valid until 2030 in June. So it's 2025, another 5 years will be added. Another 3 years will be added on the contract of Gabi, and then that means his contract will be valid for another 5 years. Big deal. Absolutely very, very big deal. And why this is a big deal for me and for you as well is Gabi has been our best centre back this summer. We need to study the improvement of this guy. I mean, Arsenal signed him, I think it was 22, from Lille Metropole in 2020. Between 2020 and 2025, those are 4 or 5 years, and he's 26, 27 right about now. But the level at which Gabriel Magalhaes has improved, many people are actually having him as one of the contenders for Player of the Season at Arsenal. Many people are actually having him as one of the contenders for centre back, for a centre back in the team of the season. And that shows you how consistent Gabriel has been. And this season, I tell you, Arsenal have conceded the least number of goals in the Premier League, 34. I think 34 or 36, right? Even Liverpool, who have won the league, conceded about 42. The likes of City, 42, and the rest. So Gabriel is such an important player at Arsenal. And why Andre Bata, for me, deserves a huge praise for doing this deal. There is interest in Gabriel from Saudi Arabia. And we know Saudi Arabia. You're not going to easily kick them out. You're not going to easily, you're not going to easily refuse the money they're asking for. They're going to target the player and they're going to target the club. They will try to give you 100 million and they'll try to give the player 100 million themselves, right? And Manchester United are going through it right now. Saudi Arabia have offered Bruno Fernandes, the only player Manchester United have at the moment. They have offered him 100 million. They have offered 100 million for Bruno Fernandes. So for Andre Bata to sit down with Gabriel and talk to him and convince him to stay, for me, that is special. And of course, with Gabriel, if you sold him right now, you risk losing Saliba. Because the partnership of Gabriel and Saliba is solid and is rock for this Arsenal team. That is one of the reasons why we are not conceding as many goals as you can imagine. Okay, so I've got to believe, and I've got every reason in the world to believe that Arsenal have done the right thing in getting Gabriel to stay. And Andre Bata, kudos to him. He's working. I can see what he's doing. Although it's not in terms of incomings yet, but he is really working. And of course, he's working on this deal as well. He's in negotiations with RB Leipzig regarding Benjamin Shesco. And a few days ago, he met the executive of RB Leipzig, Marshall Safa, in London to make sure that the deal actually happens. And at the moment, he's discussing the structure of the Benjamin Shesco deal. Of course, he came in and task number one was to get us a striker. I think he's doing that. I mean, it's Arteta's choice to go for Benjamin Shesco. It is Andre Bata's job to sign Benjamin Shesco, right? So if he signs Benjamin Shesco, I won't have a problem with him. I won't have any problems with him. It's the manager that has asked for Benjamin Shesco. And then he's working on a couple of other deals as well. He's been very, very busy. He's working on the Miles Lewis Skelly deal. Skelly's going to get a new contract and he's going to get an increase in salary. The Trossard deal, we are told by BBC, is very, very close. Again, Trossard is one of those players that are going to get a salary increase at the club. And then he's working with the William Saliba deal and the Saka deal. So a lot is happening with the Andre Bata office. He's working on these extensions. I don't know how Arsenal got into this mess. Like we have around 6 players that need contract extensions. Nwaneri, Skelly, Saka, Saliba, Gabriel, Trossard, Martinelli, Partey. We have 8 players that Andre Bata has to work with in terms of contract extensions, or even more, right? And then he's got to sign a striker, and then he's got to sell, okay? And he's doing that, all of it, because at the moment he has talked to the representatives of Rodrigo at Real Madrid. Now, I believe that Arsenal needs a super signing because Shesco ain't a super signing. And I pray that Mikel Arteta tells Andre Bata, get me Shesco and get me Martin Zubimendi. Those are my players. I want them. And I'm going to give you the liberty and freedom to go out there and sign a superb left winger. Because if that happens, we might see a deal like Rodrigo's happen at Arsenal. He's talked to the representatives of Rodrigo. He's talked to the representatives of Rafael. Again, those are two high caliber deals, and it shows you the amount of work this guy is putting in at Arsenal right at the moment.